Picture this. You're scrolling through social media, casually checking updates from friends and family. You see pictures of smiling faces, happy gatherings, and perfect moments captured in time. It all looks so seamless, so connected. But as you scroll, a familiar feeling creeps in, a sense of disconnect, like you're watching life happen from the outside. You might even wonder, why doesn't it feel that way for me? Why do I feel like I'm standing on the edge of something, unable to fully step into what everyone else seems to be enjoying? Maybe it's not just on social media. Maybe it's when you're with a group of friends, at work, or even with family. There's this subtle but persistent feeling that you're out of sync, like you're marching to the beat of a different drum. It's not that you don't care about the people around you, you do. But there's something deeper, something unspoken that creates a distance, a gap that you can't quite bridge. Have you ever felt that way? If you have, you're not alone. This feeling, this sense of being out of place, is more common than you might think, especially among those who are on a unique spiritual journey. It's as if there's a part of you that knows this world isn't your true home, that you're meant for something more. In today's video, we're going to dive into that feeling, what it really means, and why it might actually be a sign that you're a chosen one. If you've ever felt that you're on the outside looking in, wondering why the things that seem to satisfy others just don't fill you up, then stick around. We're going to explore how this sense of disconnection is pointing you toward your true purpose, and why it's actually a powerful reminder that you're destined for something greater. Imagine this. You're sitting in a room full of people, everyone laughing and sharing stories, but deep inside, you feel like you're miles away. This was the reality for Jacob, a young man I met during a community retreat. Jacob had a good life, by most standards, friends, a job, and a healthy lifestyle. Yet, he confessed to me during a quiet moment by the fireside that he often felt like an outsider looking in. Jacob shared how, during gatherings, he would smile and nod, but his thoughts were often elsewhere, fixated on deeper questions about life and purpose. "It's like I'm physically there, but my soul is on a completely different journey," he told me. His sense of belonging to something greater than the everyday conversations about weather and sports felt unfulfilled. He longed to connect on issues that touched the soul, the unspoken struggles, and the quiet hopes that we all carry. This feeling, he realized, wasn't just about not fitting in. It was a sign of something more profound. A sign that perhaps his spirit was being called to focus less on worldly things and more on a spiritual quest, a journey that not everyone around him could understand or see. It was this realization that began to change how he viewed his place in the world, turning his feelings of alienation into a call to seek deeper connections and meaning. You might be sitting there right now, nodding along, feeling that same disconnect that Jacob felt. It's a common thread among us, chosen ones. We walk through daily routines, engage in conversations, maybe even laugh along with jokes, but inside, there's this gentle tug at our spirit, a whisper telling us that there's so much more. Have you ever felt that? Like you're part of the crowd, but not really in it. Where you're surrounded by noise, but all you hear is a deeper silence calling you. That's not just you feeling out of place. It's possibly a signal, a gentle nudge from above that your soul has different needs, that you are meant for something beyond the ordinary. And I know, acknowledging this can make you feel isolated, like you're walking a path few others see. But believe me, you're not alone in this journey. Many of us feel the same way. We are together in this feeling of strangeness, in this quest for deeper meaning. This isn't just about feeling disconnected from the world. It's about being connected to something much larger, much more profound than we can see. So, when you feel that disconnect, remember, it's not just a space of loneliness. It's a space of calling, a reminder that you are indeed chosen, and that this world, with all its noise, cannot drown out the voice that calls you to come higher. When we talk about feeling disconnected from this world, it's important to recognize that there's a spiritual reason behind it. You see, as chosen ones, we aren't just living ordinary lives. We're on a unique spiritual journey, one that doesn't always align with the everyday experiences of those around us. This sense of disconnection isn't a flaw or a weakness. It's actually a sign that our souls are entombed with something much greater. The Bible reminds us in Philippians 3 that our citizenship is in heaven. This world, as beautiful, complex as it is not our final destination. We're passing through, on our way to something far more glorious. This disconnection we feel is a reminder that our true home is not here, but in the presence of God. It's like being a traveler in a foreign land. You can appreciate the journey, but deep down, you know you're meant to go somewhere else. Spiritually speaking, this feeling of not belonging is a way for God to draw us closer to Him. When we feel out of place in this world, it's a call to focus more on our relationship with Him, to seek out the things that truly matter in the eternal sense. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, our jobs, our relationships, our responsibilities. But when those things start to feel empty or unfulfilling, it's often because our souls are yearning for something deeper. The disconnect is also a sign that we are set apart, chosen by God for a special purpose. In 1 Peter 2 verse 9, it says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession." Being chosen means that we are called to live differently, to see the world through a different lens. This can sometimes make us feel like outsiders, but it's because our values and our purpose are aligned with God's kingdom, not the world's. So, if you're feeling that disconnection, that sense that you're not truly at home here, it's because you're not. You're meant for something higher, something eternal. God is using that feeling to remind you of your true home and to encourage you to keep your eyes on Him, even when the world around you doesn't make sense. Embrace that feeling because it's leading you closer to where you truly belong. Let's take a moment to think about the world we're living in today. With all the technology, social media, and constant connectivity, you'd think we'd feel more connected than ever, right? But for many of us, it's actually the opposite. Take Sarah, for example, a young woman who seemed to have everything going for her, a successful career, a vibrant social life, and hundreds of friends online. But despite all this, she often found herself feeling incredibly alone. Sarah shared with me that scrolling through social media made her feel even more disconnected. She saw everyone else seemingly living perfect lives, filled with happiness and excitement, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing in her own life. It wasn't that she lacked friends or activities to fill her time. It was that these things didn't satisfy the deeper longing she felt in her soul. She started noticing that the more she immersed herself in the world, chasing after the latest trends, trying to fit in with what everyone else was doing, the emptier she felt inside. It was as if she was living in a world that didn't resonate with her true self, with who she was meant to be. No matter how hard she tried to blend in, there was always this nagging feeling that she didn't truly belong. This sense of alienation wasn't just about social media or the fast-paced lifestyle. It was a sign that Sarah was being called to something deeper. She realized that the reason she felt disconnected wasn't because there was something wrong with her. It was because she was a chosen one, and her soul was longing for more than what this world could offer. Sarah began to shift her focus away from the things that didn't fulfill her and started seeking a deeper connection with God. She found that as she spent more time in prayer, studying scripture, and connecting with others who shared her faith, that feeling of disconnection began to make sense. It wasn't a void. It was a signpost pointing her toward her true home, a reminder that she was meant for something greater than the temporary pleasures of this world. Her story is a modern example of what many of us feel this world can offer a lot, but it can't fill the void that only God can satisfy. So, if you find yourself feeling like Sarah, remember, it's because you're in touch with a deeper truth, a truth that reminds you that your true home is not here, but with God. Let's talk about some of the signs that might suggest you're a chosen one. These aren't just random feelings or coincidences. They're indicators that God has set you apart for a special purpose. As we go through these, see if any of them resonate with you. You've always felt different. From a young age, you might have noticed that you don't quite fit in. Whether it's in school, at work, or even within your family, there's always been something about you that stands out. You might find that While others are content with going along with the crowd, you have a deep sense of individuality. It's not that you're trying to be different. It's just that you are. This feeling isn't a mistake or a flaw. It's because you were never meant to blend in. God has placed a unique calling on your life, and that's why you often feel like you're marching to the beat of a different drum. A strong sense of purpose. Chosen ones often have an unshakable feeling that they are here for a reason. Even when life gets tough, there's this inner voice that tells you you're meant to do something significant. This purpose might not always be clear, but the feeling that you're destined for more than just a routine life is always there. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's God's way of reminding you that He has a plan for you. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That sense of purpose is a sign that you are indeed chosen. You're highly intuitive. Chosen ones often have a heightened sense of intuition. You might find that you can sense things before they happen, or that you have a deep understanding of people and situations without needing much information. This isn't just a gut feeling. It's a spiritual gift. God has given you this insight as a way to guide you on your path. It helps you navigate the challenges of life and make decisions that align with your higher calling. If you've ever felt like you just know things without being able to explain why, that's a sign that God is working through you. You feel a deep connection with the divine, while others might struggle with their faith or feel distant from God. You've always felt a strong connection to the divine. Even in your darkest moments, you know that God is with you. This isn't something you've had to work hard to achieve. It's just always been there, a constant presence in your life. This deep connection is a sign that you're chosen, that God is actively working in your life and drawing you closer to Him. 5. You're often misunderstood. Finally, one of the clearest signs of being a chosen one is that you're often misunderstood by others. People might not understand your choices, your beliefs, or way of thinking. You might feel isolated or like you're on a different wavelength than those around you. But take heart. This is a sign that you're walking a path that isn't meant for everyone. Jesus Himself was misunderstood, even by those closest to Him. And He reminded us in John 15 verse 19, "If you belonged to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world." If these signs resonate with you, know that you are not alone, and you are not mistaken. You are chosen, set apart by God for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Embrace these signs as reminders that you are on a unique and divine journey, one that leads you closer to your true home. Now that we've talked about these signs, I want to take a moment to encourage you to reflect on your own life. Have any of these signs shown up for you? Do you ever feel different from those around you, like you're on a path that's just a little bit different? If so, I want you to know that it's okay, more than okay, actually. It's a beautiful confirmation that you are indeed chosen. Take a moment to think about your own journey. Maybe you've always felt this sense of purpose deep inside, or perhaps you've noticed that you're more intuitive than others. Maybe you've even felt that deep connection with God that we talked about. Whatever it is, take some time today to really sit with those feelings and ask yourself what they mean for you. I'd love for you to share your experiences in the comments. Let's create a space where we can support each other, where we can share what it's like to walk this path of being a chosen one. Sometimes, just knowing that others feel the same way can be incredibly comforting. You're not alone in this journey, and by sharing your story, you might just encourage someone else who's feeling the same way. Remember, this world isn't your true home. You're here for a purpose, and every time you feel that sense of disconnection or otherness, it's a reminder of your higher calling. So, take a moment today to reflect on what being chosen means for you, and if you feel led, share your thoughts with us. We're all in this together, and your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Let's dive into the unique roles that chosen ones have, both spiritually and in the world around us. You see, being chosen isn't just about feeling different or disconnected. It's about being called to fulfill a specific purpose that God has laid out for you. This purpose is both spiritual and practical, and it's woven into every aspect of your life. Spiritually, as a chosen one, you're called to be a light in the darkness. In Matthew 5:14, Jesus says, "You are the light of the world." A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. This means that your role isn't just to exist, but to shine brightly, to reflect God's love and truth in a world that often feels lost and broken. Your faith, your connection to God, and your spiritual journey are not just for your benefit. They are meant to inspire others, to guide them toward the light, and to help them find their way back to God. In the worldly sense, your role might manifest in different ways. Maybe you're someone who stands up for justice, who advocates for those who can't speak for themselves. Perhaps you're a teacher, a mentor, or a healer, someone who brings comfort and wisdom to those around you. Whatever your specific calling, it's important to recognize that it's not just about what you do, but how you do it. You're called to bring a sense of purpose and divine intention to everything you touch. For some, this role might be in the workplace, where you bring integrity and compassion into your daily interactions. For others, it might be in your community, or even within your family, where your presence and actions reflect the values of God's kingdom. The key is that you're not just going through the motions. You're living with intention, knowing that everything you do has a greater purpose. But remember, being chosen also means that you'll face challenges. The world doesn't always understand those who walk a different path, and you might find yourself standing alone at times. But that's where your spiritual strength comes in. God has equipped you with everything you need to fulfill your role, both in the spiritual realm and in the physical world. So, as you go about your daily life, keep in mind that you're not just here to live, you're here to make an impact. You're here to fulfill a divine purpose that only you can accomplish. And even when it feels tough, know that God is walking this path with you, guiding you every step of the way. Your role as a chosen one is both a blessing and a responsibility, one that you're uniquely equipped to handle. Embrace it fully, knowing that you are making a difference, both in this world and in the spiritual realm. Now that we've explored what it means to be a chosen one, I'd love to hear from you. This isn't just a one-way conversation. I want to create a space where we can all share our experiences, support one another, and learn from each other. So, let's get the conversation going. Have you ever felt that sense of being different, like you're on a path that doesn't quite match up with those around you? Maybe you've noticed some of the signs we talked about today, like that strong sense of purpose or a deep connection to God that others might not understand. Whatever it is, your story matters, and I want to hear it. Take a moment to think about your own journey. How have you experienced this calling in your life? What challenges have you faced as a result of being set apart? And how have you seen God work through those challenges to shape you into the person you are today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I truly believe that your story could be the encouragement someone else needs right now. Maybe you felt misunderstood or isolated because of your faith. How have you dealt with those feelings? Have you found ways to stay strong in your purpose, even when the world around you doesn't quite get it? Let's talk about that too. Your insights could be exactly what someone else is looking for, especially those who are just beginning to recognize their own calling as a chosen one. And if you're not sure whether you're a chosen one, that's okay too. Sometimes it takes time to fully understand and embrace that calling. If you're still figuring things out, feel free to ask questions or share where you're at in your journey. We're all here to support each other, and there's no judgment, only understanding and encouragement. So go ahead, drop a comment below. Let's build a community where we can share our faith, our struggles, and our victories. Whether you're confident in your role as a chosen one or still on the path to discovering it, your voice is important. Let's uplift each other and continue this journey together. knowing that we're not alone and that every step we take is leading us closer to our true home. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Dealing with isolation can be one of the toughest challenges for a chosen one. It's that feeling of being alone, even when you're surrounded by people, of not quite fitting in no matter where you go. But there are practical ways to handle this isolation, ways that can help you stay grounded and connected, even when you feel set apart from the world. Lean into your relationship with God. The first and most important tip is to deepen your relationship with God. When you feel isolated from others, remember that you are never truly alone. Spend time in prayer, read scripture, and talk to God about what you're going through. He understands your feelings better than anyone else and wants to draw you closer during these times of isolation. Consider setting aside specific times each day to just be with God, whether it's in the morning, before bed, or during a quiet moment in your day. This will help you feel connected to the one who has chosen you for a special purpose. Find a like-minded community. While you may feel different from those around you, it's important to seek out a community of like-minded individuals who share your faith and understand your journey. This could be a small group at your church, an online community, or even just a few close friends who get what you're going through. Connecting with others who share your values and beliefs can provide much-needed support and encouragement. Don't be afraid to reach out and build those relationships. It can make a world of difference when you're feeling isolated. Focus on your purpose. When isolation starts to weigh on you, remind yourself of the purpose God has for your life. You've been set apart for a reason, and that reason is bigger than the loneliness you might feel. Spend time reflecting on your purpose and how you can live it out each day. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your personal growth, focusing on your purpose can give you a sense of direction and fulfillment that helps combat feelings of isolation. Serve others. One of the best ways to break free from the grip of isolation is to serve others. When you're feeling disconnected, look for opportunities to help those around you. This could be through volunteering, offering a listening ear to someone in need, or simply being there for a friend who's going through a tough time. Serving others shifts your focus away from your own feelings of loneliness and allows you to connect with people in meaningful ways. Plus, it's a powerful reminder that your life has a positive impact on those around you. Practice gratitude. Lastly, cultivate a habit of gratitude. It's easy to get caught up in what's missing or what feels off, but taking time to focus on what you're thankful for can shift your perspective. Each day, make a list of things you're grateful for, big or small. This practice can help you see the blessings in your life and remind you that even in isolation, there's so much to be thankful for. Remember, isolation doesn't have to define your experience as a chosen one. By leaning into your relationship with God, finding a community, focusing on your purpose, serving others, and practicing gratitude, you can navigate these feelings in a way that strengthens you and deepens your faith. You're not alone in this journey, and there are always steps you can take to feel more connected and supported. When we talk about the experience of feeling isolated or set apart as a chosen one, it's helpful to look at what experts and spiritual leaders have to say about this journey. Their insights can offer us not only comfort, but also a deeper understanding of why we feel the way we do and how to navigate these feelings in a healthy, faith-filled way. Dr. Henry Cloud, on Boundaries and Isolation. Dr. Henry Cloud, a well-known Christian psychologist and author, often speaks about the importance of boundaries in maintaining mental and spiritual health. He explains that while isolation can sometimes feel overwhelming, it's also an opportunity to set healthy boundaries. In his book, Boundaries, Dr. Cloud talks about the importance of knowing when to say no and when to protect your emotional and spiritual energy. He suggests that feeling isolated might be God's way of pulling you away from distractions so that you can focus more clearly on your spiritual growth. According to Dr. Cloud, this time of solitude can be a season of preparation where God is equipping you for the purpose He has planned for you. C.S. Lewis, on the Call of the Chosen Ones. The great Christian writer, C.S. Lewis also provides valuable insights into the experience of being a chosen one. In his writings, Lewis often reflects on the idea that those who are called by God are not meant to be comfortable in this world. He reminds us that if we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world. This aligns with the feeling of disconnection and isolation that many chosen ones experience. Lewis suggests that this discomfort is actually a sign of our true calling, and that it's an indication that we're meant for something greater than what this world can offer. His perspective encourages us to embrace our feelings of isolation as a sign that we're on the right path, one that leads to our true home with God. Pastor Rick Warren on Purpose and Isolation. Pastor Rick Warren, author of The Purpose-Driven Life, offers a perspective on isolation that is both practical and deeply spiritual. He emphasizes that everyone has a God-given purpose, and sometimes isolation is part of the process of discovering that purpose. Pastor Warren explains that God often uses solitude to shape us, to help us listen more closely to His voice, without the noise of the world around us. He suggests that instead of fighting against isolation, we should lean into it, using it as a time to deepen our relationship with God and to gain clarity on our purpose. According to Warren, these periods of isolation are often followed by seasons of great growth and fulfillment, where God's plan for our lives becomes more evident. Dr. Brené Brown on Vulnerability and Connection. While Dr. Brené Brown is not a Christian theologian, her research on vulnerability and connection provides valuable insights that can apply to the spiritual journey of chosen ones. She talks about how embracing vulnerability is key to overcoming feelings of isolation. Dr. Brown encourages us to be open about our struggles, to share our experiences with others, and to seek out connections that are based on authenticity and mutual understanding. This aligns with the Christian call to bear one another's burdens and to build each other up in faith. By being vulnerable, we not only strengthen our relationships, but also allow God's grace to work through us and in us. These expert opinions provide a well-rounded view of the experience of isolation, reminding us that it's not just a challenge to overcome, but a part of the spiritual journey that can lead to greater growth, purpose, and connection with God. As you navigate your own path, take comfort in knowing that these feelings are shared by many who have walked this road before you, and that they are a sign of the unique calling that God has placed on your life. When you're on a spiritual journey, especially as a chosen one, it's essential to stay connected to your purpose. This connection doesn't just happen automatically, it's something you nurture through intentional spiritual practices. Let's explore a few simple but powerful practices that can help you deepen your connection with God and align more closely with the purpose He has for you. Daily prayer. Prayer is your direct line to God, and it's one of the most important ways to stay connected to your purpose. Start each day with a prayer, asking God for guidance and clarity. This doesn't have to be a long or complicated process. Just a few minutes of sincere conversation with God can make a huge difference. Pour out your heart to Him. Share your worries, your hopes, and ask for His wisdom to guide you through the day. Over time, this daily practice will strengthen your relationship with God and help you stay focused on the path He's laid out for you. Meditation on Scripture. Another powerful practice is meditating on God's Word. The Bible is filled with wisdom and guidance for every aspect of life, and spending time reflecting on Scripture can help you gain a deeper understanding of your purpose. Choose a verse or a passage that resonates with you, and spend a few minutes each day thinking about what it means for your life. Ask God to reveal new insights and to show you how His Word applies to your current situation. This practice not only brings peace, but also helps you see how your life fits into God's greater plan. Journaling, writing down your thoughts, prayers, and reflections can be a meaningful way to connect with your purpose. Keep a journal where you can record your spiritual journey, your struggles, your victories, and the lessons you're learning along the way. As you write, you might start to notice patterns or recurring themes that point to your purpose. Journaling is also a great way to look back and see how far you've come, how God has been working in your life, and how your understanding of your purpose has grown over time. Fasting is a powerful spiritual discipline that can help you focus on God and your purpose. Whether it's fasting from food, social media, or something else that distracts you, this practice helps you clear away the noise and make more room for God in your life. During a fast, spend extra time in prayer and scripture, asking God to reveal His purpose for you more clearly. Fasting is a way of saying, God, you are more important to me than anything else, and it often leads to breakthroughs in understanding and spiritual growth. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, you'll find that your connection to God and your sense of purpose becomes stronger and clearer. These aren't just rituals. They're ways to keep your heart and mind aligned with the divine calling that God has placed on your life. Remember, your purpose is not something you have to figure out on your own. It's a journey you walk with God, step by step, day by day. Living in alignment with your spiritual beliefs isn't just about what you believe. It's about how you act on those beliefs in your daily life. Here are some practical, real-world steps you can take to ensure that your actions reflect your faith and bring you closer to fulfilling your purpose as a chosen one. Prioritize integrity. One of the most important ways to align your life with your spiritual beliefs is to live with integrity. This means being honest and true to your values, even when it's difficult. In every decision you make, whether big or small, ask yourself, is this in line with the values God has placed in my heart? Whether it's in your work, your relationships, or how you handle money, make sure that your actions reflect the principles of honesty, kindness, and love. Living with integrity not only honors God, but also builds trust with those around you. Serve others. Jesus taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves, and one of the most powerful ways to live out this commandment is through service. Look for opportunities to help those in need, whether it's volunteering at a local charity, offering your time to a friend in need, or simply being there to listen to someone who's struggling. Acts of service don't have to be grand gestures. Even small acts of kindness can make a big difference. Serving others is a tangible way to live out your faith and to show God's love in the world. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice that aligns your heart with God's blessings. Take time each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for and express that gratitude, whether through prayer, writing in a journal, or simply saying thank you to the people in your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, helping you to live in a state of contentment and joy. It also opens your eyes to the ways God is working in your life, making it easier to stay aligned with His purpose. Be intentional with your time. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and how you spend it reflects what you truly value. Take a close look at how you're using your time each day. Are you investing it in things that matter, like building relationships, growing in your faith, and pursuing your purpose? Or are you getting caught up in distractions that pull you away from what's important? Make a conscious effort to spend more time on the things that align with your spiritual beliefs. This might mean setting aside time for prayer, dedicating time to personal growth, or being more present with your loved ones. Surround yourself with supportive community. Finally, make sure you're surrounded by people who support your spiritual journey. Seek out relationships with others who share your beliefs and who will encourage you to stay true to your purpose. This could be through a church group, a prayer circle, or simply a close group of friends who understand and respect your faith. Having a supportive community makes it easier to live out your beliefs and provides a source of strength and encouragement when challenges arise. By taking these concrete steps, you'll find that your life begins to more fully reflect your spiritual beliefs. Living in alignment with your faith is a journey, and these actions will help you walk that path with purpose, integrity, and a heart that's fully devoted to God. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about making daily choices that bring you closer to the life God has called you to live. Building a community of like-minded individuals is essential, especially for chosen ones who often feel isolated or misunderstood. Finding and engaging with a supportive community can make a huge difference in your spiritual journey, giving you a sense of belonging and a place to grow in your faith. Here are some practical strategies to help you find and connect with such communities. One of the best places to begin is your local church. Churches often have small groups or ministries focused on different aspects of spiritual growth. These groups are great for connecting with others who share your beliefs and values. Don't be afraid to join a Bible study, a prayer group, or even volunteer for a church event. These settings provide a natural way to meet people who are on a similar journey, and you'll find that many others are also looking for deeper connections. In today's digital age, you can find vibrant communities online that cater to specific spiritual needs. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube have groups and pages dedicated to faith-based topics. Look for groups that align with your beliefs and values, and don't hesitate to participate in discussions or ask questions. Engaging with others online can be a powerful way to connect, especially if you're in a location where finding like-minded individuals in person is challenging. Just remember to be discerning about the groups you join, ensuring they foster positive and supportive interactions. Another effective way to find community is by attending faith-based events, conferences, or retreats. These gatherings are designed to bring together people who are passionate about their faith and eager to connect with others. Whether it's a weekend retreat, a worship concert, or a large-scale conference, these events offer opportunities to meet new people, share your experiences, and grow together in your faith. Plus, the energy and enthusiasm at these events can be incredibly uplifting and affirming. If you're having trouble finding a community that meets your needs, consider starting one yourself. It could be as simple as inviting a few friends over for a weekly Bible study or prayer meeting. You don't need to be an expert to lead a group, just a willingness to open your home and heart to others. Over time, this small group can grow into a close-knit community where everyone supports each other in their spiritual walk. Serving others is a powerful way to build community. Volunteer for a cause you're passionate about, whether it's at your church, a local shelter, or a community outreach program. Serving alongside others who share your desire to make a difference can lead to deep and meaningful connections. It also gives you the chance to live out your faith in a tangible way, building bonds with others who are doing the same. By taking these steps, you can find and engage with a community that supports your spiritual journey. Remember, building a community takes time, but the relationships you form will be invaluable as you continue to walk the path God has set before you. Don't be afraid to reach out, participate, and even lead. Your efforts will be rewarded with the strength and encouragement that comes from being part of a supportive, faith-filled community. As we come to the end of this video, I want to take a moment to recap what we've talked about and leave you with some final thoughts. We've explored what it means to be a chosen one, the signs that might suggest you are set apart by God, and the feelings of isolation that often come with this calling. We've also discussed practical steps you can take to stay connected to your purpose, build community, and live a life that aligns with your spiritual beliefs. I hope you found this discussion helpful and that it has resonated with you on a personal level. Remember, if you're feeling like this world isn't your true home, that's because it isn't. You were created for something far greater, and the feelings of disconnection you might experience are a reminder of your higher calling. Embrace that calling, knowing that God has chosen you for a special purpose and that He is with you every step of the way. I also want to encourage you to take action based on what we've talked about today. Whether it's deepening your prayer life, seeking out a supportive community, or simply being more intentional with your time, these steps can help you stay aligned with the path God has set before you. It's not always an easy journey, but remember, you are not alone. There are others out there who understand what you're going through, and together, we can support each other in this walk of faith. If you've been touched by anything we discussed today, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going, building a community where we can encourage and uplift one another. Your voice is important, and your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Before we wrap up, I also want to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll be joining a growing community of believers who are committed to living out their faith and supporting each other on this journey. Plus, you'll be the first to know when new content is available that can help you continue growing in your spiritual life. And finally, if you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone in your community, sharing this message is a simple way to spread the encouragement and hope we've talked about today. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm grateful for each of you who took the time to watch, reflect, and engage with this content. Remember, you are chosen, you are loved, and you have a purpose. Keep seeking God, keep trusting in His plan, and keep walking in the knowledge that your true home is with Him. Until next time, take care and God bless.